Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So, since the authorities in Kuttenberg want me to help them with their inquiries into several thefts that may or may not have taken place in the town, I figured it was best for everyone concerned, but especially me, if I just stayed away from Kuttenberg until the heat died down. Which is why I'm out here exploring the map, and running into all kinds of funny stuff, like this. Check out the table. It's set for 8 people. 1 regular human-sized chair. 7 very, very small chairs. You might almost say chairs for 7 dwarves. You know what this is, don't you? Look, 7 tiny little mattresses, 1 big bed. Oh, hello, and there's somebody in it. And she seems a little dead. Oh no. She has bitten an apple. A poisoned apple. Come on, I don't need to spell it out, do I? Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. The game is full of stuff like this. You just have to get out and look for it. Warhorse have populated the map with all kinds of stuff just like this. Some of it, pop culture references, like this. Some of it, just bizarre and weird shit. And a lot of it isn't even quest related. It's just there, waiting for you to stumble across it.
I should go back.
Having the perk, the reason Henry keeps saying I have to go back is this place is right up on the northern map border. Right here. Just kind of north of Raborsch and Bohunovitz. And it is literally on the map border. Having the perk that shows you the location of any points of interest on the map, once you've managed to raise your survival skill to a sufficiently high level, it does make finding these places significantly easier. But whether you have the perk or not, these places are out there just waiting for you to walk into them. And so while I was completely voluntarily and not under any legal pressure whatsoever taking an extended leave of absence from the city of Kuttenberg, I thought, let's have a look around. Let's just see what there is to see on the map. Not everything's a pop culture reference, although there are more than a few of them. Some of them are just strange. For example, there's something just up ahead. I've set a waypoint. There she is, Catwoman. I'm not sure what to expect. Michelle Pfeiffer, hopefully. I'll settle for Hailey Berry. But I don't know. Let's go and check it out. Well, let's find out. It is a little late. Apologies for the darkness, but I am carrying a torch. Oh, in case you're interested, this is up in the sort of... Well, it's not that far away from the place where we found Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs hut. It's up in the top north-western corner of the map. Hello? What's going on here? A burnt down cottage?
A house burned down recently. But why here?
This is not
nowhere.
actually the point of interest on the map for Catwoman. Somebody's burnt down a cottage and there's a dead dog in the ruins. The place is still smouldering, so this happened relatively recently. But this is not the point of interest. The point of interest is it's only a couple of dozen yards away. And if you're wondering what the significance of the dead dog is, don't worry, all will be revealed. The actual point of interest, the Catwoman point of interest, is right here. It's right next door to the burned cottage. And the Catwoman herself, she's around here somewhere. There she is. Let's have a chat.
Good day to you. Where did you come from? What are you doing here?
Calm down. I was just passing by.
Then don't stop and keep going. You won't be seeing anything interesting here.
Yeah, about that.
I've noticed a couple of strange things here. And I don't like the way it looks at all.
What strange things? I don't know anything.
The burnt-out cottage is suspicious.
What do you mean?
This place is remote. The army probably didn't pass through here, and only one building burned down. So it seems to me someone did it on purpose. Revenge, maybe?
We had it good here. We wanted for nothing. Until this fella moved in and brought the beast with him. The bitch tore 3 of my kittens to pieces, and Cuddles barely survived. And when I begged him to watch the dog better, he just laughed at me. Said he'd make a blanket from my kitten's furs.
So you burned down his house?
He's the one who threatened me. Said he'd burn down the barn with all the cats in it. Was I supposed to wait for him to do it?
Well, I kind of feel for the dog, but at the same time...
I won't judge you.
Nobody asked you to. It'd be best if you were on your way. I can smell dog on you.
All right. I better go.
That would be for the best.
Farewell, my friend.
I'm really not sure what to make of this. I mean, she's had 3 of her... Or so she claims. She's had 3 of her cats killed, one of them crippled. What choice did she have? And I feel for the dog, but I mean, the dog's only as bad as its owner, but at the same time, there's something not quite right here, because there are 4 cat skins on the back wall of her hut. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Honestly, I'm not really sure I want to. But it's just one of the examples of the weird shit that's lying around the map, if you just get out there and explore. And speaking of pop culture references, and I had to Google this one because I had no idea. Down here in the other end of the map, just to the south of Kuttenberg, right in the southeastern corner of the map, not far from Denmark, we have the old massive tree. And in the roots of the old massive tree, there is a very particular hat. It's a very strange straw hat. And if you've ever watched the anime One Piece, you might even recognise it
straw hat
as
here.
Luffy's hat. I mean, visually, it apparently looks exactly like it. It's placed under a tree, referencing the tree that Luffy trained with Rayleigh by. Again, I'm just reading this from Google. I have never actually watched One Piece. The hat also has plus 900 conspicuousness, like a meme-like amount of conspicuousness, and it weighs 36 pounds. And the flavour text on the hat says, "It carries the will of those who wore it before me. This is 100% Luffy's extremely conspicuous straw hat from the anime One Piece." In fact, they've even data mined it, and the item ID is POI Luffy Straw Hat. It's Luffy's hat from One Piece. Not far south of Kuttenberg, in the fields just before you get to Milani, as you can see on the map here, there's another point of interest, just south of this archery range. It's called the Sharpshooter Duel. Let's investigate. There isn't actually a duel occurring here, but there was one, and you can see the aftermath. There's a body line over here with what looks like a crossbow bolt on his chest and one in his neck. There's a discarded longbow next to him, and it's not bad, but it's not great. There's also a bunch of improved piercing arrows, which you are entirely at liberty to help yourself to. You can even pick up the book on the nobility of the bow, a book by the noble Curad of Loritz on why the crossbow will never replace the longbow. Okay. Down at the other end of the duel, there's another body. This one appears to have fallen victim to somebody armed with a longbow. You can see where this is going, can't you? Again, you can help yourself to his actually very valuable ornate hunting crossbow. That thing's worth 1200 groschen. You can also help yourself to the arrows that killed him, and if you search the body, you will find a treatise on the beauty of the crossbow, written by the dead guy at your feet, explaining why the crossbow shits all over the longbow. These are both skill books, by the way. Reading both of these books will each improve your marksmanship skills. It will not, however, much like this stupid duel, determine what's better, crossbow or longbow. On the table there is a key to the chest, which you can just pick if your skill is sufficiently high, or you can just help yourself to the key and pick up the 500 groschen that these two idiots had bet on the outcome of the duel, and that they both lost. Does anyone remember Bolek, the guy from Troskowitz who bought a map to the Holy Grail? Well, if you spend sufficient time fast travelling around the roads in Kuttenberg, you'll find him here too.
Henry! That's a stroke of luck.
Bolek, is that you?
As I live and breathe, we meet again!
How's your quest for the Grail going? Have you drunk from it yet?
No, I haven't, and I probably never will. I'm done looking for it.
No, I never figured you for a quitter. What happened?
There's no point, no clues, except that rhyme, and I can't even figure that out. I've been through hell and high water, hungry, destitute, a laughingstock. There's no point in going on like that.
So you've taken up a regular job?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
What do you mean?
I may not have found the Grail, but I'm onto something better.
What are you up to this time?
Treasure, and lots of it. Money, gold, jewellery, precious stones.
What treasure?
Listen, you ever heard of the Knights Templar?
Yes. They were the knights who protected pilgrims travelling to the Holy Land. But that order doesn't exist anymore, does it?
Precisely. 100 or so years ago, the Pope had it disbanded. He was unhappy that they were starting to be wealthier than was good for them, and they didn't want to pay for some war or something, so he had most of the knights executed. But they left behind a huge fortune.
Ah, and then he took that money for himself, did he?
Not all of it. The knights who survived the Pope's rage rode off and hid chests of gold around the world to keep it safe in case the order was ever to return. And I may have an idea where one of those chests is.
Let me guess. You think it's in the mines, and that's why you're pretending to be a miner.
That's right. I don't know which mine exactly, but it's a hell of a good lead.
But what if the Templars find out you stole from them?
And how are they going to find out? You think I'm gonna hang around for them to show up? Besides, it's been down there for a long while now. High time someone claimed it.
How do you know all this? You met another mad monk?
No, not that. I got it straight from the horse's mouth. The other day I hammered this knight at dice in the tavern, and when he had nothing left to bet, he wagered this information. And lost. Says he's looking for the chest, too. So I just have to beat him to it. And that's why I'm disguised like this. I can get me into the shafts anytime I want.
Bolek, how can you be so trusting of everyone? Some fool in an alehouse tells you something, and you throw common sense to the wind and believe him. Can't you see he might have lied to you?
You mustn't think everyone's out to get you. There are good and bad people. But sometimes it pays to trust them.
And other times not.
I trusted you, for example. You could have been a thief or a rogue, but I trusted you and told you about the Grail. I may not have found the Grail, but I got something just as worthwhile. I made a true friend. And when the Lord is gracious enough to let me run into you again after a while, you always give me advice, or at least a kind word of encouragement, and that was worth a little trust.
Stop it. Or you'll make me cry.
I hope to see you again soon, my friend. Till next time.
Good luck.
Take care, sir.
Bolek might be an idiot, but he's 100% spot on about what led to the downfall of the Knights Templar. Because at the height of their power and influence, the Knights Templar were basically the richest bank in Europe. And unfortunately for the Templars, they found themselves in the position of being owed staggering amounts of money by some of the most influential and powerful people in Europe, including one pope and a couple of kings. And by an amazing coincidence, they suddenly found themselves outlawed, excommunicated, declared heretics, hunted down and killed. Because if somebody's dead, you don't owe them money anymore. In the woods to the southeast of Sukdol, you'll find another point of interest. It's not a pop culture reference, at least not that I'm aware of. If you know any better, feel free to let me know in the comments. There's no story around it, it's just a place. It's known as Matthew's Camp, and I have no idea who Matthew is, but he is an extremely knowledgeable chap. And for a price, he's entirely happy to share that knowledge. Matthew is a skill teacher, and he knows some shit.
I'd like to learn something.
What do you want to know?
There's no unlock requirement for any of these skills other than finding Matthew.
I'm interested in sword fighting.
All right then, but it'll take a while.
And for an extremely reasonable price, Matthew will be very happy to teach you swordsmanship, marksmanship, polearms, and heavy weapons. It is a bandit camp. Matthew is apparently the leader of a bunch of bandits, but unlike every other bandit in the game, none of them are hostile. You're free to wander around at your heart's content, interact with whoever you want, but most especially Matthew himself, and because for an extremely reasonable fee, he's entirely happy to teach you a whole bunch of things. There are various different chests scattered around the camp, and none of them are particularly difficult locks, but, well, if you fancy helping yourselves to the contents, I would at least recommend that you don't do it in front of everybody in broad daylight. That might upset Matthew.
I'd like to learn something.
What are you interested in?
I'd like to be more skillful with an axe.
All right then, but it'll take a while.
And if you upset Matthew, he's probably not going to offer to teach you stuff. You remember that town whose name I can't pronounce? The one where they're busy building a fortress. The one that claims to have an inn, but the inn is actually a good 300 or 400 metres down the road towards Kuttenberg from the village itself. Just sort of southwest of the town, there's a patch of woods. And inside the woods, you'll find the best arrows in the game.
Greetings, my friend.
What are you doing here?
I come here to practice with my bow, but I can't shoot for shit. Anyway, making my own arrows is what I like best. You won't find better ones anywhere else. I make them with rook feathers.
So you say no one makes better arrows?
You bet, but they're useless to me, as I can't hit the broadside of a barn. Maybe you'd find a better use for them.
You'd make me some.
Gladly. Rook feathers are hard to find, though. But if you bring me some, I'll make arrows for you.
Thank you. What's your name, anyway?
My name is Bocek, but everybody calls me Bocek the Byblow, because I'm such a bad shot.
Don't worry about it. I'm a byblow too.
Ha ha, that was a good one. Farewell, my friend.
So take this as a warning. If you come across any root feathers in this game, do not get rid of them.
Bocek is truly hopeless at archery.
Bring them to Bocek, and he can turn them into these black arrows.
So that's Bocek's magic arrow.
It's not the end of the world if you haven't come across any root feathers, though, because there are an absolute shit ton of them just lying around, basically anywhere but in the target that Bocek was aiming at. And here they are. They had 180 stab damage, which is vastly superior to the range damage of anything other than lead bullets used in handguns. There isn't a crossbow in the game at the time of recording that will do better damage than these black arrows. So I suppose that kind of answers the question that our two duelists were arguing about earlier. What's better, longbow or crossbow? Well, if you're using black arrows, and you're actually any good with the ranged weapons in this game, which is by no means guaranteed, the longbow is superior. Finally, well, not finally in the game, there's plenty more than this, but finally in today's video, there's this place, which is sort of east of Vysoka and southwest of Miskowitz. There's an abandoned dwelling. It's not entirely abandoned. It's an old forge. There's a story that goes with this place, although it's not immediately obvious.
Hey lad, got anything for a toothache?
Actually, there's a couple of stories. At first I thought these guys were bandits, but they're not hostile. So then I thought mercenaries, deserters.
Fuck, Benesh's howling is driving me crazy.
Well, apparently one of them is called Benesh and he has toothache. There is a usable forge here, as well as an abandoned cottage where the roof has mostly fallen in. And it looks like this is where these guys are staying. They've got a cook fire set up here. There was a barn at the back.
Praise God. Shit! If that Benesh doesn't shut up, I'll pull that fucking tooth out myself.
They're not hostile. You can wander around. There's only one part that they don't really want you poking your nose into. Although the barn at the back here, that's mostly collapsed. Nobody cares if you wander around in here. And there isn't anything in here to see anyway. But this Benesh guy with a toothache that everybody's complaining about. Well, there are a couple of things that you can do in here. That's the forge. It's still in use.
What are you doing here?
And this is Benesh.
God bless. I'm Henry.
Hoof hurts.
What?
I say, my hoof hurts, Hammy.
Ah, your tooth. Hurts, huh?
Help me.
Help you? Yeah, why not? Pa was a blacksmith. I must have watched him pull teeth 100 times. It didn't look too complicated.
And pull it out already. Quickly.
And which one is it?
Hey, on the bottom.
I'll have a go. It can't hurt any more than it already is.
Stop squirming and hold still.
Mary, mother of God, it's out. It's really out.
Do you want it as a keepsake?
Fuck no. Throw that awful thing away. Mercy be, lad, thanks. And here's a few groschen for beer.
Right, well, that's hopefully going to cheer everybody up now that Benesh is no longer moaning about his teeth.
What are you doing here?
They don't want you going in there, though. Now, you can use the forge. Despite the general state of disrepair of the whole place, the forge is actually still functioning. Aside from it still being in working order, there's nothing else remarkable about the forge, although there is a chest here. And looting the chest will count as theft. But, whatever, nobody's looking. A sketch for a battle longsword and a noble sword, a couple of recipes, blacksmithing recipes that I didn't already know. I'm not entirely sure why they'd be upset if they caught me rifling through the chest, since it's clearly not theirs. These guys are mercenaries or deserters, they're not blacksmiths. The recipes clearly belong to the blacksmith that lived here before they took over, but whatever. 2 new recipes, hooray, I'll probably never make them. I'm curious why they don't want me going into the... I mean, look at the place. It doesn't even have a roof. But that's where they sleep. Can't help but feel it'd be better off sleeping in the barn. I mean, it at least has a bit of a roof. You know, to give them some protection from the elements, but no, this busted up old cottage with no roof is the place they don't want me going into, so naturally I want to go into it. I should probably wait until after dark, until they're all asleep. But I figured I'd take my chances, since none of them are actually looking at the moment. There's a chest over here that contains a forgotten contract. Before anybody comes back in, I'll have a quick look around. There's nothing else here. Let's clear out before anybody sees me and gets upset. And this forgotten contract reveals the story of what these guys are doing here.
What? So Benesh and his men are mercenaries? And shit ones at that?
Benesh and the 3 shitheads with him took on a contract to protect the village of Masolas. Now, I've been through Masolas, and it definitely didn't look very protected. It's also a fair old distance away from this shithole. So whatever job of protection they were doing, they're clearly not doing it anymore. And they clearly also, when you actually see what happened to Masolas, did a pretty piss-poor job of protecting it in the first place. Because Masolas is on the map, although it's not called Masolas anymore. In fact, it's not even a village anymore. It is still on the map, but it's not a village. It's now a point of interest. It's a point of interest a couple of 100 metres down the road to the south of the abandoned forge where Benesh and his 3 shitheads are currently hiding out. The point of interest is called Burnt Masolas, because rather than do the job they were being paid for and actually defend the place when a bunch of bandits turned up, Benesh and his 3 partners in crime just took the money and ran. And those are just a few of the stories, completely unrelated to any main or even side quests scattered around the map. The Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. They're all out there. You just have to go and find them. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you're all having a great Wednesday. Well, as great as a Wednesday can be. As always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.